Hello, entrepreneurs. Joe DeChara, CPA, coming to you live from downtown Flushing, New York, for another amazing version of How to Win at Business. And if you're watching live, please give me a hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, give me a hashtag replay because it makes me feel really good. If you don't know me, like I said, I'm a CPA over 35 years. I've been working with very, very small businesses for the last couple of years, so small that they're not even started yet, most of them. And that's what we do. We do bookkeeping, tax preparation, tax problem resolutions, and we also incorporate people. We set people up with their own business. And that's bedrock. That's bedrock business builders. That's the entity that my team and I use to do the work. You know, everything's done under a corporate entity, and this is me. This is Joe DeChara. I do this. I do the Mastermind with Joe DeChara on Saturdays, 2 p.m. Eastern, and Tech Tuesdays with my friend Elizabeth, 12 p.m. Eastern, and we have a lot of fun. You know, that's one of our core values. We have core values as a business, which is something that my coach Larry Broughton taught me, and it works. You know, it's not easy to start and run a business. When anybody starts a business, they are at a distinct, tremendous disadvantage. You know, not only, you know, are you dealing with your life, but now you're dealing with the calamity of being in business. And I say this because most people, when they go into business, myself included, have no idea the trials and tribulations that are going to happen. And it's not if they happen, it's when they happen, because it's just the way that it is. And what we do is we try to help prepare people for what's you know what lies ahead, because there's no way it's going to happen. There's no way you're going to become successful without some pain and suffering. So as soon as you can accept that, you know, you have a much better chance at success. And what's come to my attention lately, even more so, is that we have a tremendous problem in this country with people finding and using qualified tax preparers. Way too many people try to do it themselves. Way too many people get into trouble because they try to do it themselves. And I think that a big problem is the fact that if you don't know somebody in business, and even if you do, maybe you have the wrong idea about what accountants do and how to hire them and what questions you should ask. Because to be honest with you, most people do not ask me the right questions. And there is a big communication gap between people that are just starting out in business and what's needed, what's really needed. You know, when you talk to somebody like Larry Broughton, Larry will tell you, don't even go into business if you can't afford an accountant. That's pretty tough, you know, because the truth is that most people, when they go into business, aren't on a shoestring. Most people don't have access to capital. Most people are looking at, you know, living from week to week or even day to day sometimes. And may not see the value in hiring an accountant right away. and it's easy to put it off. Say, oh, I'll hire somebody to help me with that when I start making money, which is another thing, because most people that start out that way don't make money. They wind up spending money. So, it's like a catch-22. Where do you start? What came first, the chicken or the egg? Do you hire an accountant before you start your business, or after, or sometime in between? When does it start? Well, it should start, and you're talking to an accountant. It should start before you start your business. You should have some kind of idea. You should be getting some kind of education. You should be at least talking to accountants, and asking them things like, have you ever actually handled an audit? Have you ever handled an income tax audit where you had to go down to the IRS, produce, a client's books and records, and prove that what's on their tax return was correct? Did you ever get a penalty abated? I'm going to show you something right here, and I've been doing this for a long time. I must have gotten millions of dollars in penalties abated, based on a simple concept called reasonable cause. And reasonable cause is when you get hit with a tax penalty, you can get it abated if you show that you weren't willfully negligent, you didn't act in an unreasonable manner, you relied on professional advice. Is one way to prove that you have reasonable cause. And I'm going to show you something here that might shock you, but it works. So plenty of times when people come to me and they have a penalty from some schlock accountant that did something stupid, or they did it, and so I use they got poor professional advice. They did everything a reasonable person could do, and they messed up. Reasonable cause is also if the IRS gives you written advice and it's wrong, and that just doesn't happen. But medical, natural disasters, COVID, I'll be using COVID for years because it's the truth. People were filing late. They didn't have their records. These are all reasonable cause. And any good tax accountant should know this. So, and I'm going to show you. So this is for an S-corp that was filed late. And when you file a corporate return late, the shareholder gets a penalty. So in this case, it was $200. And I just told them I was the preparer. I thought that I successfully submitted the extension. I was using new software. It didn't work, blah, blah, blah. And a couple of weeks later, we got the notice. The penalty was abated. Now, in this letter, the person was kind of cute, and they said, "Oh, we're only giving this to you because it was your first year." Well, that's another thing. The IRS won't tell you that, but if the first year you're in business, you could say, this was my first year in business, and I didn't know, and I didn't have an accountant, and I won't do it again. So you need to, if you're going to hire an accountant, the accountant needs to know how to go to war for you, because that's what I do all the time on a daily basis. And some of the things that I'm seeing out there are scary, because you cannot just take an H&R Block course and then decide that you're going to prepare taxes. Because what you read in a book and what happens in real life are two totally separate things. Okay? You can't equate what's in the instruction books, in the IRS instruction books, because there's a lot that's not in there. There's a lot that's not in there. And the only way to know what is acceptable in preparing taxes and keeping books and records comes with experience. That is the only way. So if you're looking for an accountant, you need to find out how much experience do they have? How many years, how many hundreds or thousands of clients have they worked with? Because not all accountants are created equal. You know, I do somebody's tax return. The guy was a CPA investment banker. He spent 2 years doing taxes in a big CPA firm. He didn't want to be bothered keeping up with the tax laws and everything. The kind of taxes that he was doing was not the same. He was doing taxes for big companies, wealthy individuals. It's not the same as doing taxes for, you know, mom and pop shops and doing s-corp returns. So when you're hiring an accountant, make sure they have experience. Now, firms like H&R Block, R&G Brenner are fine because they're going to make sure at least that your return is accurate and that, you know, your chances of getting audited are slim. Okay, because the IRS knows when there's H&R Block on the tax return, the chances are that return is going to be backed up with documentation because that's what they look for. The problem with companies like H&R Block is that those are tax preparation firms. You go there once a year. There's very little planning done. There's very little creative tax work being conducted. So, you know, that's my story for tonight, folks. I'm sticking with it. I got some crazy divorce cases where I can't believe that wealthy individuals get divorced. They have their attorneys put all kinds of tax ramifications in there where you're going to split the refund, you're going to claim the kids. And now I find out that most of them don't even consult with an attorney, with the tax person to try to see if what's in the agreement is going to even go according to what the IRS rules are. So there's some crazy stuff going on out there, folks, when it comes to getting taxes done. And you know, the funny thing is I've been trying to get out of doing this kind of business for a long time until a couple of years ago when I realized that I can actually help a lot of people just by doing bookkeeping and tax return. And that's a great thing. So that's my story. I'm sticking with it. God bless. I will see you again tomorrow for another amazing version of how to win a business. Thank you.